Greetings, cyberdogs, citizens of the internet, and scrapsters from all over the world. My name is Rendog, and this is episode 5 of Scrappy Racers. In the previous episode, we crafted this magnificently impressive beast of a Scrappy Racer known as the Subway Train. And in this episode, my friends, we're going to be making a Mario Kart. And it is going to be absolutely freaking awesome. This Subway Train Scrappy Racer cruised down the drag strip in a cool 32 seconds flat, and you guys gave it an overall rating on the Scrapper-meter of 9 out of 10. You guys absolutely loved the build, and you know what, so did I. I think it did deserve a 9. It may not have been the quickest at Scrappy Racer, but considering its size and weight, I think it did pretty damn well. It looks absolutely amazing. It had really awesome handling, and I think it turned out absolutely fantastic. A well-deserved 9 on the Scrapper-meter for this bad boy. Now, in this episode, my friends, we are going to be working on a Mario Kart Scrappy Racer, and I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. This was a suggestion made by one of you guys in the comments of the previous episode, so if you guys have got some really cool ideas for a Scrappy Racer, let me know, and we might actually do it in the next episode. Anyway, my friends, let's get our butts over to the scrapyard and get cracking on today's Scrappy Racer. So here we are, Scrapsters, back at the Scrapyard workshop, ready to get cracking on today's Scrappy Racer build. We're going to be making a Mario Kart, guys. It is going to be absolutely awesome. But before we get to some block placing, just want to take a quick moment to thank you guys for all the amazing support that you have been giving me on the Scrappy Racers series. I know that I say it in every single episode, guys, but you guys really are enjoying the series, and it's just been really, really cool to see how much you guys are loving the series, and how many people are watching it, and how many of you guys are sharing it and liking the videos. It's been absolutely amazing. For those of you guys who are new to my channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. Make sure to go and check out my other series. I play a lot of Minecraft too, guys. I don't just play Scrap Mechanics. So go and check it out. I would very much appreciate it. And if you don't, I'm gonna shove this bearing directly between the crack of your ass. You hear me, you bastards? Thank you. Okay, enough dilly-dallying for today's episode, my friends. Let's get scrapping. I want to make myself an amazing little Mario Kart today. And for those of you guys who don't know what a Mario Kart is, well, I don't know where you've been for the last decade or so, but yeah, Mario Karts are freaking awesome. Basically, a Mario Kart is a go-kart that Mario races in the game Mario Karts. I mean, I couldn't explain it any more simpler than that, but I'm a big fan of Mario Karts, always have been, and played a lot of the game over the years, and I'm very, very excited for this build, and I'm very grateful to the Cyberdog who gave me this idea. I think it's a really, really cool idea. You know, when you think about Scrappy Racers and you think about what we're trying to do here, Mario Karts kind of fits into that theme quite nicely, doesn't it? Now, of course, one of the problems that we've got is that we don't exactly have the colors required to make a decent looking Mario Kart. A Mario Kart is generally, well, the one that Mario himself races anyway, is red, blue, and white. And of course, all we're stuck with is sort of industrial orange, this really weird blue color, and this sort of teal color over here. So we're going to have to focus on making the shape of the Mario Kart as close to the original kart as possible, right? I think that's how we're going to be able to really bring this build to life. And I reckon the way that we can do that is by focusing on the two primary things on a Mario Kart that makes it stick out. And that is, of course, the front of the Mario Kart is very recognizable, and the back of the Mario Kart is also very recognizable. You know, they always have these exhaust pipes sticking out the back of that Mario Kart. And I think if we focus on trying to make those two things work, we will create the illusion, I suppose, of a Mario Kart quite nicely. So, check it out. I've put some work into the chassis over here, looking pretty good. Let's get our driver's seat down here too, and I think we're probably going to put that a little bit back of the chassis. There we go, that's looking good. What's cool about the Scrap Mechanic driver seat, it actually does look quite Mario Karty, if you know what I'm saying, so that's going to help us out quite a lot. Oh man, the pressure is on, my friends. We need to design a Mario Kart that is going to make that chubby little Italian fool proud. Am I right? Oh man, it's going to be kind of tricky because we have limited blocks to use, but I reckon we can make a good go of it. One of the defining features for me of Mario's Kart is the front and the back. as I was mentioning earlier, the front of his kart has a very recognizable flat nose, right? It has a very straight, sort of steep nose from the steering wheel that goes all the way down to the wheels. And one of the other defining features, I think, is how closely the front bumper of his kart hugs the wheels. The wheels are sort of cramped into the vehicle quite dramatically, actually. So let's see if we can actually emulate that. I'm really excited about this build, guys, because the previous Scrappy Racer we worked on was an absolutely giant build, and this is going to be a much more compact build, which I think is going to turn out kind of nice. It's going to put our Scrappy Racer building skills to the absolute test here. Now check it out. That bumper is looking quite Mario Karty. This slope definitely gives me the feeling of the Mario Kart, and if we sit inside here, let's zoom all the way in. Yeah, that's starting to look pretty cool. I like that. Okay, so let's get some wheels installed for the front of our Mario Kart. You know, one of the other defining features of that particular kart design is there are quite a few little bits and pieces around the wheels. A few pipes here and there, and I reckon we could probably use this corner duct block over here to make that look kind of interesting. Now, of course, we're going to have to get some steering in here, so maybe what we do is we just add a bearing over here, and this is what is going to be turning the wheels. I think for our Mario Kart, guys, we're going to be going for a suspensionless build today. I'm going to try something a little bit new. I've been reading the comments that you guys have been leaving, and a lot of you guys have been saying that currently suspension in Scrap Mechanic is a little bit messed up, especially on smaller vehicles. So let's go for a suspensionless build for this time around and see if that's going to help us out. I don't know, man. It might be too, it might actually make handling of the vehicle a little bit impossible, but I reckon it's worth a try. This is starting to look pretty cool, man. Let's just get a couple more pipes in here. You know, the more blocks that we can add, of course, the more weight we're going to be adding to it also, and that's pretty important if we want to get ourselves down that drag strip in one piece. Well, I reckon that chubby Italian bastard would be very happy with what we're doing over here, guys. This really is starting to look very much like Mario's kart, and I'm loving it, man. Love all the pipe detail and how closely the wheel hugs the fenders. I think it's looking really great. I'm currently working on the engine for this sucker, and I reckon we use a gas engine for today's build. It has a really cool sound, and it's the most compact of all the engines, only taking up a sort of square space. But of course, the most important thing I think about today's build is making sure that the back of this Scrappy Racer looks as much like Mario's kart as we can possibly get it to look, right? And that means we need quite a few pipes coming out of this thing. A lot of Mario Karts have a lot of exhaust pipes sticking out all over the place, and I reckon we should do exactly the same thing. So let's get a little bit of exhaust action coming out the side of this gas engine, just like this. I think that looks kind of cool. And what we can try and do now is get the back wheels installed. And I think for the back wheels, we are going to be using a unique design that we haven't used before, and we're not going to be using any suspension. So it's going to be kind of tricky to do, but let's see if we can pull it off. So as we are working on a suspensionless build for today's Scrappy Racer, I've just been doing a bit of experimenting with how I want these back wheels to be set up. Initially, I wanted them to just come out of the side here, but it looked kind of boring. I wanted to add a little bit of height to the top of the back side of our Scrappy Racer. And check it out, guys. I think that this design using these table support blocks is going to look really, really cool. And also using these duct corners, or duct ends, I think is what they're called, adds quite a cool little like technical feel to it, right? I think that makes the back wheels look really sweet. And of course, all we need to do is get some bearings installed here, and we can stick the back wheels on like so. We want these to be hugging the fender quite closely too, and I think that works pretty well. In fact, I think we might even be able to bring the fender in another block there, just to make this build as compact as possible. So check it out, man. We can finish off that fender like that and get the big wheel installed over there. Let's have a look. Is that actually touching the fender? It doesn't look like it. No, there's definitely a space between. Yeah, there's a space between it, so that is awesome. Yes, this is looking freaking awesome. Well, we've come to one of the most important parts of today's design work. Give me a second. Need a bit of tea to fuel my freaking brain right now, guys, because we are going to be working on the back side of this Mario Kart, and I think this is super important to get it right. We got to make this back look really Mario Karty to be able to pull this build off. So let's try and get a couple of exhaust pipes installed. Check it out, man. I'm thinking what we could do is have the pipes coming from that engine, to try keep it as realistic as possible, right? And then I reckon we bring the pipe up. Let's just get a couple of these pipe blocks in here. Bring it up by one like this, because in Mario Kart, the exhaust pipes are always a little bit raised, right? And check it out. If we stick it like that, and then we add some pipage like that, I think that's going to add a pretty cool look. If we get into the Mario Kart itself and zoom out a little bit, let's have a look. Oh man, that is looking freaking awesome. Yes, I'm loving that. Now we just have to work on the design for the actual back here, and we could probably do something rather clever over here. We could finish it off with a slope, just like we have at the front of the Mario Kart. So let's just get these little wedges in place like that. Check it out, man. Oh, that looks really badass, doesn't it? Oh man, I'm loving that. Yes! I don't know about you guys, but I'm really starting to love this Scrappy Racer. It's looking really cool, man. Check it out. It's definitely got a Mario Kart vibe to it. I think those raised exhaust pipes bring the whole thing together, and I'm really loving how the back of this thing is turning out. Looking absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. Now, my favorite part of construction has arrived, and that is the wiring, man. We need to get this bad boy wired up, and we also need to get it into the sun. So you know what, my friends? Let's get our Mario Kart out into the sun, and we can wire this bad boy, get it ready for the first initial preliminary test down the drag strip, and let's get everything connected. We got to get the steering wheel connected to the engine. The engine connected to the back wheels. I think we shall have, let's do 4-wheel drive for this bad boy, right? Let's get the engine connected to all the wheels and the steering wheel connected to the bearings in the front. Get those things turned in the right direction. Make sure that all of our wheels are facing in the right direction too. Man, this build is so different to the previous one, right? The previous one was so complicated, and this is a much more simple build. But I'm absolutely loving the compactness of it, right? I think we've done a really good job getting our Scrappy Racer nice and compacted in here. Now, let's configure our engine. How much juice do we want to give this thing? Let's start on 90% for our preliminary test, and let's see how our Mario Kart Scrappy Racer is able to handle that much power. Before we do, let's just get one final look at this thing. It is looking awesome. I'm loving it. All right, let's get in here and let's kick that accelerator, baby. Oh, bam. Okay, the power. Oh, okay. Whoa. Okay. Yep. Way too much juice coming out of this engine. Let's drop from 90% to 80%, see if we can get a little bit better handling on it. Obviously, because the Mario Kart is so light, the power from the back is just throwing it all over the place. Oh my goodness! Okay, yep, that's a little bit better. Let's just get onto the track and see if we can do a bit of a stretch here without any problems. Oh my goodness, there's so much power, man. Okay, let's see, how far can we get? Oh, whoa, yep, oh. Okay, yeah, right. Way too much power in this thing, I think. I think, guys, we might have to drop our engine down to 70% for this. But I reckon, as it's a much lighter Scrappy Racer than we're used to, this might actually be the right amount of power. Let's have a look how fast we can get down this drag strip. Well, it's not too bad, I must say. It's got a little bit of handling issues, but I think we're ready for today's Scrappy Race. Ladies and gentlemen and Scrapsters from all over the world, welcome to the 5th Scrappy Race of 2016. Drivers, start your engines. DJ, burn that record. Let the race begin in 3, 2, 1, go! And we're off, my friends, for the 5th Scrappy Race of 2016 in our Mario Kart Scrap Racer, currently running at 70% on a gas engine. The handling is absolutely amazing. This thing is hugging the road like nobody's business. And the last thing that we're going to try and do today, guys, is hit that freaking ramp. I think we're going to be able to do it. I've had to make a slight adjustment to the ramp because the front of our car is so low to the ground. But the finish line is coming up. Can we get our Mario Kart over that ramp? That is the question. The handling has been absolutely insane, my friends. Let's see if we can line this sucker up, hit this ramp with a vengeance. Let's make Mario proud. Come on, Scrappy Racer, you can do it. Get over the ramp. Yes, we did it. Airtime, baby. Nice. Well, that just about does it for today's episode of Scrappy Racers, my friends. I hope you had as good a time as I did creating this awesome Mario Kart Scrappy Racer. But of course, it's going to be up to you to decide whether this little bad boy gets a garage or gets relegated to the scrap heap. So make sure to cast your votes, guys, and let's see if we have done that chubby Italian butthole proud with today's build of Scrappy Racers. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. It has been absolutely awesome, and thanks again for all of the amazing support you guys are showing this series and my channel. It is absolutely freaking awesome. You're making me an extremely happy sabadog right now. Anyway, my friends, that's it. I'm gonna say goodbye, and I cannot wait to see you all in the next episode of Scrappy Racers.